I want to make this video to introduce myself to the role-playing community, and in particular anyone who is looking for a dungeon master to host any kind of role-playing game online. And I've been wanting to do this for quite a while, and now is a great time because there's plenty of people who are stuck inside and they're looking for ways of entertainment. And as I've mentioned in some other videos on this channel, playing role-playing games online has vast potential, and a lot of it is untapped. So eventually I want to get into this as an actual business, but as a prototype and as a beta, of course, I want to do this for free and really get out there and see what the possibilities are, because I truly believe that role-playing industry is a fraction of what it's going to be, and it has plenty of room to grow. And I want to share those ideas with everyone and learn from everyone at the same time. And that being said, a couple of reasons why I'm going to have the best role-playing community on the internet is, number one, is I have a vast collection of books. We're talking over 400 role-playing books and tabletop gaming books, a wide variety of game systems. And for right now, because most people are interested in Dungeons and Dragons, and not only that, but they're interested in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, that's going to be the focus. But as you see here, I have my Star Wars book out, and I really want to showcase that. That's something we could jump into right away. It's actually really similar to 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons. So without too much work, we could be playing Star Wars too, and I think that's something I want to have on the table because that could also attract a large amount of people. So that's the first thing. I have a huge book collection, a huge amount of resources to draw off of, and a wide variety of game systems that we could play. Number two is I have a great schedule for doing this kind of stuff, and not only right now with the quarantine and stuff. Well, I'm actually still working, but my schedule is good all year round the way it's set up. So I've got a lot of free time, and my games can continue after the quarantine and all this mess is over. It's not just going to be a temporary thing. The next thing kind of already talked about is I have plans to do this as a business, so I'm going into it with a more serious mindset than your average person who's just trying to look for a way to pass the time for the next couple weeks or months. Whereas I'm really trying to establish a foundation, get some information, and set the foundation for a business in the future and potential clients. And at that, I want to talk a little bit about the survey I'm going to put out there for you guys. It's going to have a couple simple questions. One of them is what game systems you're interested in. Right now I have all the D&D except for 4th edition, and we'll talk about that later if you have any questions, but 4th edition is no-go right now. And that's mainly meant to be played in person. That's the primary reason for that. Anyways, we have all the D&D editions minus 4th, Star Wars as I talked about, and then 2 other ones. And there's a lot more, but I put it other blocks. So if you are interested in any game system that's not listed there, you can go ahead and hit that. Second, I'm asking if people are familiar with D&D Beyond and Roll-D20. D&D Beyond is a really good resource for 5th edition because it allows you to make your character and post it online so I could check it out, and it really streamlines the process for making a character, especially if you're brand new. So that's why I asked that, and I could explain those. Roll-D20, I've actually never used it myself, but it has a couple cool features like dice rolling. We could roll dice on the internet so we could all see the result. So that's something I might be using as well. The only mandatory question is your Discord handle, and that's so I could attribute the survey to whoever's in my Discord channel. Then I ask your experience in the game system you want to play. We have brand new. Brand new is if you've never played before and you need help through it, and that's no problem at all, and I'll be glad to help anyone out who is brand new. And then beginner, intermediate, and advanced, self-explanatory. The question is how many people are in your party, and that's if you're a single person wanting to play online and you don't have any friends that you want to play with, you'd be 1 person. If you're a couple, you'd be 2. Maybe you have a whole party, you have 4 people and you want to play, so go ahead and put that in there. Alright, this is the most important question I want to talk about. Do you have access to a microphone and a quiet place to play? And the reason I ask that is because I actually did join one group, and I noticed there was a lot of noise in the background, people talking, you hear the family talking, dogs barking, people chewing or whatever. And for me, that's a big no-go. We want to be immersed in the fantasy environment. We want to have good, solid communication. And with all that distraction stuff, it really does ruin it for me. So I am asking that you have a good quality microphone and a quiet place to play. Now, if you don't have that, that's fine, because the next question asks, would you rather play a text-based communication game? And I've seen that one time where people are typing in their responses entirely. They're not playing on a mic. And I think for that, I would be talking over voice, but all the players would be playing via text. Now, once again, I'm pretty new to this too, so a lot of this is going to be trial and error. So, and all the other questions are about availability. How often you want to play, what days you're able to play, what time zone, what hours. And then the next thing on that is my games are going to be what are called one-shots or single-session games. That means that we're going to get together and we're going to commit a certain amount of hours, and the game's going to be finished in that allotted period. It's not going to be a campaign. And what I mean by campaign is it's not going to be a weekly thing or a daily thing. There's going to be no time commitment aside from the one commitment you make. You're not going to have to say, yeah, I'll be there every Sunday at 1 o'clock. Because frankly, those things usually always fall apart. And I'm sure you probably, even if you've been playing online, I'm sure you've seen groups fall apart. So we're not going to have to deal with that. We're just doing one-shots. Now, if we get some reliable players and we start building a community, we could definitely look into doing campaigns. But to start off, we're going to keep it simple. We're not going to waste anyone's time, and we're going to do one-shots. So I hope that explained a little bit about my ambitions here, and you could check out a couple of my other videos if you want to see some products or get a feel for my personality and such. And I guess on my personality, we talked a little bit about how I like to run my games. I would say I like to run a little bit more realistic than the average 5th edition Dungeon Master. And what I mean by realistic, because obviously nothing's realistic, it's a fantasy game. But what I mean is more believable. All right, because a lot of people right now, their groups are, tiefling this and sorcerer rogue combinations and half giant this and just a lot. It's a freak show, really. It's a freak show. I find a lot of 5th edition games freak shows. There's a whole party of freaks, and that's not realistic, because if you go back to the Middle Ages or really any period of time, you have a bunch of freaks and people are going to be very adverse to that. People are going to want to kind of kill them, and that's just how things are. So in my world, I would rather have more streamlined characters, more believable, more common, and that kind of goes back to the 1st edition feel, 2nd edition feel of the game, where it was more human focused. Anyways, that's enough of that, but go ahead and check out some other videos if you want some more information, and I look forward to hearing from you and hopefully playing with you soon. Have a great day, and I hope everyone is safe and healthy right now, and your families as well.